The Lagos motor park buzzed with noise, buses honking, conductors shouting, traders waving snacks in the air. Austin stood there nervously, holding the small bouquet he had bought from a roadside flower seller. Then he saw her. Melody stepped down from the bus wearing a bright yellow Ankara dress and black heels, her long braids swaying as she walked toward him. She looked even more beautiful than the pictures on Facebook. Austin's heart nearly burst. He hugged her awkwardly, smiling like a man who had finally found the love he had been waiting for his entire life. But a few meters away, leaning against the parked bus, Kelvin watched everything silently. His eyes weren't filled with love. They were calculating. Kelvin kept his distance as the couple laughed and talked. He was tall, dressed in a neat black shirt and expensive shoes, looking like someone who belonged in business meetings, not motor parks. Melody glanced in his direction briefly. It was a small signal. A silent confirmation that the plan was moving forward. Austin never noticed. To him, this was the happiest day of his life. Austin spent the entire day showing Melody around Lagos. They ate suya from a roadside grill, drank chilled malt drinks, and laughed while walking through crowded markets. Melody held his arm, smiling sweetly, occasionally taking selfies together. To anyone watching, they looked like a perfect couple deeply in love. But every now and then, when Austin looked away, her expression changed. Her eyes became cold. Calculating. That evening, while they sat outside Austin's small room, Melody asked a casual question. Do rich customers come to your workshop often? Austin nodded proudly. Of course. Some big men bring their cars for repairs. Melody leaned closer. And they trust you? Austin laughed. Completely. Melody smiled slowly. In her mind, a door had just opened. Later that night, Melody slipped outside to make a phone call. Kelvin answered immediately. Well, he asked. Melody spoke quietly. He trusts me. Completely. Kelvin chuckled. Good. Now it's time for the next step. The following day, Melody brought up an idea. What if we start a business together, she suggested. Austin's eyes lit up. She explained that Kelvin knew investors who wanted to buy cheap car parts in bulk. If we connect them with your customers, we can make a lot of money. To Austin, it sounded like a dream opportunity. But the truth was darker. Kelvin didn't want a business. He wanted access to wealthy targets. That night Kelvin sent Melody a message. Start asking about his richest clients. Melody felt a small knot in her stomach. Still, she obeyed. The next day she asked Austin innocent questions about his customers. Who owned the most expensive cars? Who carried cash? Who trusted him the most? Austin answered everything without suspicion. Among the names Austin mentioned was Chief Baligan, a wealthy businessman who regularly brought his SUV to the workshop. He's a good man, Austin said. He even gave me extra money during Christmas. Melody nodded slowly. Later that night she sent Kelvin a single message. Found one. Kelvin studied the information carefully. Then he sent Melody the message that made her hands shake. We'll use Austin to set up the meeting. Melody stared at the screen. And after that, she typed. Kelvin's reply came quickly. Then we remove him too. For the first time, the full horror of the plan became clear. Austin wasn't just part of the scheme. He was also a target. Melody sat on the edge of the bed that night, staring at Austin while he slept peacefully. He looked innocent. Trusting. A man who had opened his life to her without hesitation. For a moment, guilt crept into her heart. But Kelvin's voice echoed in her mind. Think about the money. Slowly, she pushed the guilt away. Over the next few days, Melody became even more affectionate. She cooked for Austin. helped him clean the workshop. She even met some of his mechanic friends. Everyone liked her. Everyone believed she was the perfect woman for him. No one knew she was secretly sending information to Kelvin every night. 3 days later, Kelvin finally arrived in Lagos. He met Melody in a quiet restaurant far from the workshop. "Everything is ready," he said calmly. Melody nodded nervously. Kelvin leaned forward and spoke the words that sealed Austin's fate. "Tomorrow we begin." That evening Melody returned to Austin with exciting news. "Kelvin found a buyer for car parts," she said. "He wants to meet one of your rich clients tomorrow night." Austin felt proud. This could be the beginning of the business success he had always dreamed of. Without hesitation, he agreed. Meanwhile, Kelvin prepared something inside his car. A small black bag. Inside it were items that had nothing to do with business meetings. Gloves, a knife, and rope. Kelvin closed the bag slowly. Tomorrow night, someone would not go home. Later that night, Melody sat beside Austin, laughing at one of his jokes. She leaned her head on his shoulder like a loving partner. But when he looked away, her smile faded. Her phone vibrated. Kelvin's message appeared. "Everything is ready." Austin called Chief Balogun and arranged the meeting for the following evening. The wealthy businessman agreed to stop by after work. Austin hung up the phone proudly. He had no idea he had just arranged the meeting that would destroy his life. That night, Lagos was quiet. Inside the small room, Austin slept peacefully. Beside him, Melody lay awake staring at the ceiling. Her phone glowed with Kelvin's last message. "Tomorrow night, it ends." Outside, thunder roared in the distance. And somewhere in the darkness, Kelvin smiled. Now the question becomes even more chilling. If you discovered the person you loved was secretly planning something dangerous, would you confront them or pretend you never knew?